Rights Watch article and from an Amnesty International article about abducted and tortured and murdered healthcare workers that were abducted and murdered by Israel. So from this Human Rights Watch article, it says, released doctors, nurses, and paramedics described to Human Rights Watch their mistreatment in Israeli custody, including humiliation, beatings, forced stress positions, prolonged cuffing and blindfolding. They also reported torture, including rape and sexual abuse by Israeli forces, denial of medical care, and poor detention conditions. Okay, Ayad Abed, 50, a surgeon at the Indonesian hospital who was detained during a coordinated evac of the hospital in November, said, every minute we were beaten. I mean, all over the body, on sensitive areas, between the legs, the chest, and the back. We were kicked all over the body and the face. They used the front of their boots, which had a metal tip, then their weapons. They had lighters. One soldier tried to burn me, but burned the person next to me. I told them I'm a doctor, but they didn't care. A paramedic, Walid Khalili, 36, said that when soldiers removed his blindfold at the Sadeh Timan facility, he saw he was in a large building, quote, like a warehouse, with chains hanging from the ceiling. Dozens of detainees in diapers were suspended from the ceiling with chains attached to square metal handcuffs. The personnel at the facility then suspended him. His feet were not touching the ground. They dressed him in a garment and a headband that were attached to wires and shocked him with electricity. Now going on to the Amnesty International article. This is from, there's one woman here who was not a healthcare worker. I'm still going to read her account because it's obviously relevant even though we're talking about healthcare workers. She said, I was terrified and scared for my kids all the time. She repeated requests for information about her children and was ignored by prison guards whom she overheard laughing and mocking her. She told Amnesty that after 3 weeks at Damon prison, she was told she would be released. She was handcuffed, blindfolded, and had her feet shackled and was taken to another location. Instead of being released, she was violently strip searched by guards who used a huge knife to rip off her clothes. And last excerpt, all of the healthcare workers described horrific conditions in detention. Abed, the surgeon I was talking about earlier, said the food was, quote, horrible and inadequate, and that he lost 22 kilograms during a month and a half in detention. The bathrooms were, quote, not even fit for animals. The mattresses and blankets were thin, and the cold nights were, quote, unbearable. They gave us a bag for garbage. We used to fill it with water and drink from it later. It smelled horrible, but we had no choice. And these are the same. So now Israel has murdered over 1,000 healthcare workers and has abducted hundreds from all these hospitals that we're constantly seeing individuals. And they're taken to these, quote, detention centers, quote, prisons, where they're literally tortured in ways that we could not imagine. I just wanted to read that because I think there are a lot of people who don't know those specific details.